get started. Welcome to our 7 Streams of Income webinar series. I'm Dedric Krystal, and this is my wife, Krystal Polite. Coming to you live from our home in North Carolina. We have special guests on with us today. So this is our series of webinars where we introduce folks to additional streams of income they can add to their household to hopefully free yourself, or at least free the burden of financial burdens on folks, and do how we've done and how our special guests have done when we become financially independent through entrepreneurship. So our special guests today, Barry and Lory Strickland, are coming to us from sunny California. They are experts in the vending machine business. They've been in the vending machine business for over 30 years. They've created amazing success doing vending, and they've taught tons of people how to get into the business and how to grow as well. I'm gonna let my wife she's very excited about the vending machine business because we're actually looking to get our children into entrepreneurship, and we're looking at vending for them as well. So I'll let Krystal talk a little bit, and then we'll hand it over to our special guest.
Yes, so guys, I had found probably about a year ago, and when I was looking to start our son's business. So they have their LLC, everything is ready to go. And I've been researching people because, as anyone who follows my husband and I on social media and never heard us speak at a conference, know that we believe in shortening our learning curve. So if I can find the expert in that niche and get them to mentor us and get whatever educational products that they have, that's what we're gonna do. Because I'm not about that life of trying to figure it out. We don't have time for that, and our time is money. So I actually was doing a ton of research and came across these guys. Super excited. Now, I literally came across maybe about 4 different individuals with courses, and theirs by far was superior. Just their sales page alone had me sold. And then they have a mentoring program that I was like, oh my God. So I immediately emailed the customer service email address and said, hey, can I start my mentoring after I complete my course? And the person got right back to me and was like, oh, absolutely. That was a plus for me because I'm huge, for anyone who knows me, on customer service, and that'll make or break a business for me. So I was super impressed. And then as I did more and more digging with them, these are the people the guys that you may be looking at on Facebook and Instagram that have these eBooks out and these other courses. These are the guys that they're going to when they originally start out. These guys have been in the business, is it over 30 years?
Yes.
Over 30 years. And their kids who are adults now, but they were also kidpreneurs, which they'll tell you guys about. And this business is solely, I wanted to get into it solely for our sons. Like I said, I had their entity and everything set up.
This is one of our sons right here. He decided to make an appearance.
Right, he's just that eager to learn.
He's the next CEO of the company.
Exactly. It's literally just for them. And I tell people all the time, this is one of the most amazing businesses to get your kids involved with. And this will solely be their business. The business is set up under their names, their entity, all their information. And it's something that they can literally get involved with. They can stock these vending machines, and they can take ownership in this. So I'm super, super duper excited, guys. I cannot wait. I'm just like you guys today. I got my notepad and my pen ready because we are literally about to get this information. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Lory and Barry, and let's get started.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen if that's okay, if I can figure out how to do that right. So 1 second, let me make sure. Hold on.
Oh my.
No, they don't see that yet.
Oh, they didn't see that? Wow.
Okay.
You're dating us, honey.
Yes. Oh, it says host disabled screen sharing.
Can they hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. So while she's doing that, you may hear me call Lory Lucy. That's my nickname for her when we get into dialogue and conversations lots of times. And just so you have some reference to that, that's for some of you that are old enough or maybe saw repeats, it's a ball show. And so Lucy, I love my Lucy. She gets me into some really great adventures that are really exciting. And then she gets me into some adventures that are really crazy, not so exciting. So she gets us in some predicaments. Doesn't really do business necessarily. It's travel, or it's, you know, date night, or we get lots of stories. So lots of times you will
save those.
Yeah, lots of times you will hear me refer to her as Lucy. So just so you know, Lucille,
all through our,
think Lucille Ball,
yeah,
different predicaments she got herself into, and that's
but
my,
they're fun. They're fun.
some of them. So this is my Lucy, okay?
So we are Barry and Lory Strickland, also known as the Vending Mentors, and I just thought I'd put up some pictures here for you guys. So we have been together 37 years and married 33 years next Saturday. So this is the, you know, the wedding picture, and then this is now. So there's a before and after. This is how we are. We have a little baby granddaughter that we just had born in December 10th in New York City. She decided to come on vacation very early, but this is her now. Her name is Wesley. So we are enjoying her from afar right now because of COVID. And then this is our daughter, Austin, right here on the far left. And then this is Wesley, and then this is her wife, Angie. And Angie has two boys, John, Carlos, and Lucas. So that's them. And then this is our daughter, Sage, and her significant other, Ethan. And so I just wanted to share our family with you guys. And then, you know, we are the Vending Mentors. So that's us, and I will stop sharing. So I just wanted to show you who we are, and that we have been in the business a very long time, but hopefully we look young. Krystal actually thought we were younger, so yay, Krystal. But anyway, so that's who we are, and we've been in the business 30 years. I'm gonna let Barry share his story with you for a couple minutes. You might see me kind of kick him under the table because he talks way long. He's kind of Italian, so his hands do this all the time.
Yeah, you might.
He is Italian. He's not kind of Italian.
I might get out of the screen, into the screen, hands would be flying, you know, so
go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, younger in life, I was a school teacher, and I was also bartending. So, you know, I was trying to figure out, I had an entrepreneurial spirit about me, and I wanted to do something other than punch a clock and, you know, trade time for money. And so it got to be like summertime, one of my school years, and we were a traditional school, so we didn't have any, we could teach summer school. I didn't want to do that, so I was looking for some type of opportunity to get into some type of business where I didn't have to trade that time for money so much. And I stumbled upon vending. And so I bought my first 5 machines when Lory was going on vacation one time. She went back to Jersey, and I went, you know, I thought, okay, I'm going to start this vending thing.
Wait, I forgot. We're from Jersey. People don't usually go on vacation to Jersey unless you're from Jersey. So that's fine.
Well, she went back home. She went back home because she's, you know, homesick. I drug her out here from Jersey, and she's homesick. So anyway, I got my first 5 machines, and you know, I started to do some, and you know, I had no mentorship. I had no any direction back then as far as what to do. And so, you know, I made the mistake that so many vendors make and newbies make when they come into my warehouse and office, and they have already made a poor decision that cost them some money, too much money. And in my case, it was the same thing. I got these 5 little machines. It cost me 3 times as much as they were actually worth. I spent $15,000 on. They were actually worth about $5,000, about $1,000 a piece. You know, and I learned that after the fact. So, but I got them placed, and the company was supposed to help me out. There's these franchises we'll talk about later on down here in our talk about franchises and vending franchises and stuff like that. So anyway, they were supposed to find me accounts and stuff, and well, they found a couple, and you know, and I think I had 1 still not placed or 2, but it became kind of frustrating for me. It was a frustrating few months, and you know, I was kind of down on it a little bit, vending. I don't know, you know, again, no direction or anything. But then I came across a gentleman who had been in the business a long time, and he became my mentor. He became my trainer. In other words, he educated me on vending, and from that point on, my business started to pick up. And suddenly we went from just, you know, from the ground operation to making a few $1,000s the first year. Then as it progressed, we built this business to about 250 machines all over the county of San Diego, with gross sales of about $500,000 a year. And had 2 full-time drivers. You know, we moved up, you know, first it was just me delivering and filling, and then it was another, because I had that spirit of just getting bigger, building the business bigger, because I had a, you know, what I wanted to do is bring my wife home from work. And so she was working, I was working the 2 jobs. I was trying to free her up, and that's what I did. I freed her up from her job, and then she was able to stay home with the family, raise our kids. And then I was able to quit one of my 2 jobs, and then eventually I quit the teaching job, and then it was full-time, full bore in the business of vending. And that freed us up to do things like build a custom home, and it allowed us to travel more. It gave us the lifestyle that so many people, including me, thought about. We thought maybe the only way I'm going to get there, I'm not going to get there punching the clock. I'm not going to get there trading time for money necessarily. But if I could create a business that created a semi-passive income, that's what I'm trying to say, a semi-passive income. If I can create a business like that, then I can create that kind of, I can control the income, I can increase the income, and it could give us that lifestyle that we wanted. So that allowed us both to quit work, it allowed us all those dreams that we talked about having. And then from now, I've been doing this for about the last 12 years here locally, 30 years in the business, but 12 years locally. I've been starting up vendors in the business here locally in San Diego. Everything from professionally refurbished equipment to what we're talking about, that mentorship, that training, and I used to, you know, work with a lot of people locally. Now we expanded over the last couple of years to nationally, because we're touching people all over the country now and helping them get started in the business. And everyone has a different idea about the business when they're first getting in. Some people just want it to be a side hustle. A great way to start the business as a side hustle. And then you can build it as big or small as you like. And so that's a little bit of the story, I think.
Yeah. And so then Krystal touched on kids, you know, being entrepreneurs, kidpreneurs. And we are contacted by a lot of parents that want to get their kids started in the business. And our kids definitely did our business from probably 10 till they were, you know, in college. And so 10 to 18 years old. And so the funny thing is their friends would come over. One of the times we had our warehouse all different places. And one time it was, you know, in our garage, and kids would come over and they'd say, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. You have all these snacks and drinks in your garage." But our kids had to work for them. So they weren't allowed to just go grab a Snickers bar or go grab a Coke or whatever. They had to like do their chores or do whatever, you know, they had to work to get paid. And so they're like, "No, it's not as good as you think."
It's just like a free-for-all out there in the warehouse.
So anyway, but yeah, this is great business for kids. Barry's going to say that in a second, but we have a few topics that we wanted to cover, you know, about vending. And now, because now we're in this COVID thing, and so we wanted to talk about how is this a recession-proof business, Barry?
Vending has always been known as a recession-proof business, and here's kind of why. When there's a recession in our economy, and that happens occasionally, it's happening probably a little now, it's happened in the past, everybody draws back a little bit on their spending. So if you are a consumer or if you're an employee somewhere, you're still a consumer, right? So now suddenly you're not buying that car, you're not buying maybe that house, you're not buying the new washer and dryer or whatever, and you're not going out to eat as much, okay? So what happens is everyone kind of hunkers down a little bit on their spending. And what we notice in the vending world is as they go to work, the good old days when there wasn't a recession, everything was going great, you weren't necessarily worried about your job or the company's survival. You know, every $10 every lunch, you're paying somebody $10 for who to go out there and buy some sandwiches, bring them back to work, or you'd go out every lunch day, spend $10 at work. But in vending, what would happen is, well, I want to spend that $10, but you know what? I'll brown bag it today, and I'll buy a soda or a beverage or a bag of chips from the machine or whatever from the machines. And so people start spending the change in their pocket instead of the $10 every day for lunch. And so it became known as a recession-proof business. So that's the reason for that.
And then how do you think it's doing during COVID?
So in COVID, you still have those same situations where people are cutting their spending, but now you also had the added factor of they don't want to go out and they're hunkered down because they don't want to go out and communicate with anybody else. They don't want to socialize necessarily at their restaurant. They don't want to go into a restaurant. And so now they're really hunkered down at work, where they're just going to stay in their work environment with people they know are already tested or whatever, or clean or whatever you might want to say with COVID. And so now it's even more of a stay at home, stay at work, stay at the break room, use the machines in there. And then of course the machines, vending machines now also have, as opposed to somebody preparing your food and then giving you some sort of takeout, right? Vending, it's all, nobody's really handled the food. It's all done at a factory and sealed at a factory. The sodas are sealed, the chips are sealed, everything's sealed. So in people's heads, that's more sanitary than say going out and buying food that's prepared, right? So again, in the COVID situation, vending, kind of a recession plus a COVID kind of thing going on, vending will do very well. I've had this question quite a lot recently from a lot of students about the COVID. And things like, I'll tell you one thing, it was really a hot market for the first 3 months of the lockdowns and stuff. And all that. It was apartment complexes. Apartment complexes were booming because everybody was home. So the kids were home, the families were home, the dad was home. There's places, vending in apartment complexes can be very good when everybody, like in the summertime when all the kids are out of school and everything. But in that last 3 months when everyone was home, it was like summertime.
We've had vendors have their best few months during this time.
So,
How about the whole cashless thing too, like using no cash?
So yeah, again, you know, right now in the vending world, it's a cashless systems that can be added to the cash system. So not only can it take bills and change, but now it could take a credit card. Now you could do Apple Pay. Now you could do debit card, you know, Google Wallet. And so we've been putting those systems on vending machines now. And now, you know, everyone's touching everything less, right? So now they don't have to touch money. They're just pulling out their card, flashing it in front of the machine, you know, perhaps pushing a button with their knuckle if they don't want to touch it, or a pencil, whatever they got, you're right. And so, and there's even some technology out now where you can actually order on your phone, right? So you can go through an app, you can actually order your product out of the machine if it's set up correctly by an app on your phone. It's kind of expensive, but a lot of people have been leaning into that lately too. So that's as far as, you know, safety and, you know, and staying, you know, sanitized. That's a great way of doing it.
Yeah, and in California, you know, we were shut down first and I think opened later, but closed again. But we have had the busiest last couple of months of, you know, people just probably, I think, because, you know, people's jobs were at risk or are at risk, and they're like, what else can I do so that like what you guys teach? I mean, you guys teach to have 7 streams. So that's awesome because, you know, one stream might dry up. You need to have a couple other streams going so you're not, you know, in a big drought.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think with vending, you know, people now are like, I need something, at least like some kind of side hustle so the money's still coming in when things happen in our world like that. So talk about that, like how, like it's a low, like how it's a low startup.
The low startup cost to get into vending. The ROI is very quick compared to a lot of industries. People always ask me, what's going to be my ROI on this, you know, equipment that I'm buying? And, you know, I'm going to give you a range anywhere from 8 months to about 18 months. And that's really quick ROI on a return of investment in any business, you know. So that's what makes vending very nice. And you can start up vending for, you know, about $2,500 to about $3,500. It depends. It depends what kind of equipment you're buying and how much equipment you're buying. If you're just buying one machine, it's a lot less than that. If you're buying, most people buy 2 machines and they want a soda and snack machine, you know, so then you'll be up a little on the higher end of the range I just said. If you're just getting one machine, you're below the range I just said. So, but as far as startup costs and return of investment, it's really a good business.
Right, but again, we want to emphasize if you do it right, because we've seen so many people do it wrong. We've seen people invest, you know, into the scams, because we've seen people invest their whole life savings, their whole retirement, and with these machines that are poorly made and that kind of thing. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, so if you do it right, and kind of how Krystal said, like you find people like us who have done it, we know the mistakes that we've seen people made ourselves. We made the mistakes by buying those first 5 machines that were so overly priced. I mean, they were kind of a funny gimmicky machine actually hung on the wall and like a picture, So that was their selling point, like kind of blends in the office. So no one can even tell it's a vending machine, and it hangs on the wall.
Which
and
is sometimes bad, but no one can tell
they
it's a
can't
vending
tell.
machine.
It used to have this magnetic picture on it that you can, make your office decorative. But anyway, they charged us way too much. So scams are out there. So when Barry talks about ROI, it's definitely when you do things the right way, so we teach
Right,
that, how to do
right.
that the right way.
Because do you want to get into scams a little bit or not yet?
I guess we can, since we're talking.
Let's talk about kids and how it relates to kids a little bit.
Okay.
So what I like about vending and kids, I get a lot of parents that come in here or call me up that have children, and they'd like to get started for the same reason, Krystal, that you're talking about. Get your kids involved in the business. And it's a great business because it's predominantly a cash business. So it's great to have your children learn about business values, how to run a business, and how to handle money, how to handle cash. Like, what do I do when I earn this money, and now what do I do, and how to go to the bank, and how to do, so the whole process of learning how to run a business, how to buy more product, how to order product. So the whole idea of running a business, it's great for kids. And then I get parents that want their kids to save the money for college, like as a college fund. And so I get a lot of that. So that's fantastic. It's a great business for work it as a family if you want, or train your kids to do it. And then obviously they can take over the business. But I have a lot of parents, moms and dads, that take their children along on the journey to fill machines and service machines. And then, they love it. They did. Even our girls loved it, for a while, until they got to be teenagers. And then, of course, everything changes when a female becomes a teenager, so.
Yeah, it might be a little different for the boys. I don't know.
That's a lot different for boys.
Girls are a little whiny.
Boys, it's different. It is different.
But they're also, they're building an asset. So they start, I know there's, I don't know what the labor law number is, but, our kids were under that, I'm sure. But, we paid them.
It doesn't matter if they're in your family.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, they're building an asset. So, the vending businesses, that's the amazing part about it, is you take all the time to build it and you're building an asset. We just had 2 vendors that we personally know. Barry was in the deal and, one lady was in the business for 30 years. 30?
Yes.
Sold her
Both of them.
business, and she is able to easily retire on that money. And then the other guy too, like another vendor friend of ours, Barry brokered the deals and sold it to somebody else. But the funny thing is like who they sold it to, the person they sold it to is a millionaire, and he was like, oh my gosh, the return on investment in vending is crazy. And so it's easy for him. He's got millions of dollars, just come in and buy these routes, that were for sale. And he looked at it as a great investment for him because it's an asset. He can write off the equipment. He can write off, like when the business he's in, and we're not going to get into it, but it's not drugs, but the business he's in, he has no write-offs, right? He has none. And so he needed some assets to write off and a business to write off. So he kind of looked at it and was like very excited about it. So here's 2 older vendors who are like, yay, someone came along and bought my business cash. And then, he's happy because he just got a business that's, kind of turnkey in a sense. We helped him, but turnkey in a sense. And now his return on investment is way bigger than if you just put it in stocks or whatever.
Yeah. He told me the other day, he goes, I can't believe this. You guys in not vending business realize this. And he says, he is now. He goes, your return on investment in this business is over 40% per year. And he said he buys businesses, and he goes, that's a crazy return for him to think about it, over 40% per year. So, and if you do it as a sole proprietor, which he's not, he's going to have an employee or 2, then you can drive that number up to maybe 50%. So it's a good return. Right. Per year. So anyway, what was I going to talk about? And then also
about the kids, you obviously don't need a college degree. You need a vending mentor degree from us, from our class.
Yeah. Well, you need knowledge in anything. You need knowledge and you need guidance, and that's what I didn't have when I first started out in the business, was knowledge and guidance, until I found that older gentleman that was in the business for a while, that for some reason took me under his wing and helped me. And he didn't call himself a mentor back then, but that's exactly what he was. And that's what drove us and me these last couple of years to figure out how to help these people that were getting, they were getting swindled. They were getting scammed. That was the first reason I started thinking about doing what we're doing now, which is create this class and show people the right way to start without wasting time and money, and how to be successful and profitable in the business. Because they would come in here, they would come into my warehouse, they'd come into my office, they say, they'd either be trying to sell me their equipment that they pay $10,000 a piece for. And I'd be like, that's worth like, for one, it's built, you know, overseas. It's not the same quality as US built equipment. And it's only worth maybe $1,000, $1,500 to me. It's not worth $10,000. But I just bought it. I go, I understand, but you bought it from a franchisor, that these middlemen brokers that team up with manufacturers of these vending equipment. And I'll just use I'll talk very generically now, because I don't want to name anybody in particular. So a lot of the healthy companies that you see out there that have healthy wraps on their vending machines. So what that is a middleman that creates a business that they'll work a deal out with a manufacturer who will manufacture the machines for them, and even possibly wrap the machines for them in their gimmicky, whatever their gimmicky thing is. Then they overcharge for the machine. They promise the franchisee that, hey, we're going to find you locations, and we're going to help you out. And I can tell you a lot of horror stories here. But for one, they're buying a machine for brand new, built low quality probably, for about 3 or 4 times more than it's worth. So right there, they made a ton of money off that new person. And we can tell stories about, you can tell a story about the young lady that spent 160 grand.
Yeah, so we had a lady who had a brick and mortar business and sold that business, and then bought into this, they call it a franchise. I don't know. I mean, it's honestly a ripoff, because what happens is these companies do this and then they get sued so much and they go out of business. But they package it so it looks so enticing. Like, look, here's these machines and they're beautifully wrapped and you can sell healthy products in them. You guys, if you go to a vending machine, most people are like, where is the Snickers bar? Like, nobody is like, where is the apple? I mean, they're just not, right? So we've had, plenty of customers over the years that are like, could you put something healthy in there? And we go, sure. We do. And then that whole row is still there. And then the Snickers and the peanut M&Ms are gone. So, I mean, so they do these gimmicky kind of ideas that in a normal, like, I don't want to say normal person, in just like a, person who's doesn't have knowledge would be like, oh, that sounds like such a great idea. And then there's nobody to tell you that $10,000 machine is worth $1,000. So we had a lady who sold both of her businesses, paid like $130,000 for, what did she get, 15 machines?
Something like that.
I don't know. It was like
she got one free because she bought like.
She called us crying, because now she sold their whole profit from having a business for 20 years to start this vending business, because they said, passive income, all that kind of stuff. And honestly, her machines, for what she should have paid, like, $30,000 maybe for the machines, not $130,000. And then they tell them they're going to help her locate, get locations. They didn't. And so it's just such a shame. And we had another guy who, we get some of people before they get them. We have it on our website, thevendingmentors.com. We have a guy, Mike, we saved him $33,000 because he was going to do the same thing. But he bought our program, he bought our mentorship, and he buys his vending machines from us. And so that's how he is able to not, get scammed. But we had a guy that spent $300,000, and he,
oh, that's Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
I can tell you, Jack.
Okay.
Go ahead. You want to tell Jack's story?
No, go ahead.
So Jack, one of my first customers that came in here with this big complaint, it made me start thinking about it. He had worked out a deal with one of these companies again. He borrowed $300,000, and he bought a brand new van, and he got 25 of these machines.
That we're talking about.
Yeah, almost 10 grand a piece. And so they helped him place some of them he placed. He was in the business for about, I don't know, 1.5 years, 2 years. He had to sign a contract with them that for a certain amount of time. They also owned a sister company. So this healthy company also owned a sister company that sold the product to their franchisees. And so you had to buy product from them for up to 5 years after you purchased the machines. And so so he was in the middle of that contract, and they did get a big account for him here locally. That he had about 15 of his machines there. Of the 25, he had 15 of the machines at that location. And he got a call one day and said, from the company, from his franchisor, and now he thought he had bought his own business, his own machines, was all his. So he gets a call from the franchisor saying, you need to pick up your machines within a week at that big account. He goes, a week? He goes, what's going on? And he goes, well, we lost contract. Now, he didn't know
But they still had it.
they still owned the contract, and he didn't know that it was a year-to-year contract. And so he basically he didn't even get 30 days to get out of the place. So the only reason I know this is because I have a service that moves machines also. And so I had to have that arranged to pick all those machines up, all 15. Well, he decided that enough was enough, and he ended up going to court against the company. And so I ended up kind of being in the middle of that a little bit because I was storing the machines in my warehouse, and the company wanted to pick them up, and he said, don't give it to him. So I went back. So he stayed in court for about, it never made it to court. But it cost him so much money. A couple of years of just going back and forth. And I don't know how much money that ended up costing him, but they ended up settling. But and this is what happens to all these people. They become so despondent by the business. They never get a good start in the business because they had such a bad taste of it in the beginning, and they either lost a lot of money, or they think this doesn't work, or vending isn't for me. And so that's what made me think we need to get these people before they go out and they start searching for these franchises. And just teach them the right way, or just how to do the business.
Also, there's not a lot of people that want to teach you how to do this business because it's very competitive. So they're not going to tell you their secrets. They're not going to tell you, where to buy a machine. So that's the one spectrum that we come in contact with. The other is people that think they can buy a vending machine for $500, and they get an old vending machine. They don't know, right? So the vending machine's old, and it doesn't work. So you finally get the account, the location, and then it breaks all the time. So then you're like moving it in. So we get the people who, want to start really very inexpensively, but then that's a lot of like headaches and time that you lost. And then you probably will lose your account because there's other people out there that will spend the money to buy a machine that's going to work. So we have that. And then we have a lady that was our student who bought 2 routes, and a route is a bunch of locations that somebody has put together to, as their business. And there was 2 guys that scammed her. They said the machines made, this much money per month. I think they $5 a month, and it made $5. So here she had spent her whole inheritance on this business, and ended up, losing it, taking them to court too. One guy she never found. He just changed his number and everything. So that's what we try to do. We try people before they get scammed with, the big franchise purchases where they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, or they're spending, they're buying routes.
Right.
So with our mentorship program, we evaluate that for our students before they ever buy anything. Even if they don't buy a machine from us and say they're in North Carolina like you guys, they can show us what machines they're thinking of buying, and then we'll say, yeah, that's a good one, or no, that's not. And so we help them that way. And so we try to avoid both scams. The one where they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars where they don't have to, and the other one where they're buying things so inexpensively that their business is just not going to work that way either. So what we did, do you want to talk about how it's a good side hustle real quick, and then I'll just tell what's
So we start, but see, a lot of entrepreneurs that want to get into the business that already have a full-time job or a part-time job going. So that's a great thing about this being a good side hustle, because you can get another stream of income coming in with this business. And, it's really flexible service hours. So like I said, apartments, or there's different locations like that where you can service them after work, at lunch, before you go to work, on the weekends. There's lots of businesses that have varying hours other than just 9 to 5, like maybe you're working, right? Or whoever's out there. And so you can build a pretty substantial vending route, what I call a side hustle, and then you can make a decision. This is good. So you can build as big or small as you like. That's what I really like about vending. Some people just like the side hustle kind of idea. They just like making the extra $10,000 or $20,000 a year as income on top of whatever their income is. I wanted more. So I wanted to expand to the point where it took over my jobs. I was able to quit my jobs. She was able to come home from work, and that's what I wanted. But not everybody wants that. Some people really enjoy their work and what they do. And this is a great way of getting another business, another stream of income coming in. It's semi-passive, so you're not standing there. You're basically putting a bunch of little 24/7 stores out there. Think of them that way. There's my one 24/7 store. There's another 24/7 store. And you go to them maybe once a week and fill them up. Resurface them. So it's not like you're spending all your time there at your store, like a regular brick and mortar store. So that's the beauty of vending. That's the beauty of building a side hustle, and you can create and build as big or small as you'd like. Yeah.
So it's like Dedric and Krystal talk about, 7 streams of income.
Right.
So it's like another stream, right? So you can build that big, you can keep that small, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
So it's adjustable.
Yeah, just real fast. This big stream of income that I built helped us create another business, helped us build another business, helped us buy another business. So, that's what the beauty of having multiple streams of income can make, is then you can multiply that and build another business and have another stream of income. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what we did, you guys, because of all the scams we heard and because of what we went through and because we did have a mentor, which is kind of funny. I was thinking about it, which I haven't really thought of it before. We're standing in that mentor's warehouse. So we ended up, big full
Part of
circle,
it,
it was his. So
Yeah.
we're very grateful for him and his time that he spent with us. And that's why we want to give back to this industry. This industry can get a really bad rap, because of people getting ripped off like we talked about. And so we know for us, it was great for our family and great for us. So we want people to know it's great for them too, without the bad things that we have come across that happen. So what we did is we, like Barry said, we've been mentoring people for 12 years locally. And so we have that millennial, that 25-year-old daughter who came along and, she's the one that said, we need to take this online. And so what we did is we taught 10 of our students for 6 weeks, and we taught them everything we know about vending. And we asked them, what do you guys want to know? Because, when you're in the industry for a long time, you might forget things that we've just are second nature to us now. So we took them and we said, ask all your questions. And we built, 6 weeks worth of videos that teach that. And that's part of our Vending University program. And then things like, we have a location finding system where we teach what to say, who to talk to, that kind of thing. We also talk about part of our class is called the 30-day playbook. And that is like all the back office things you need to know, like, what kind of licenses do you need? What kind of, how to do your sales tax? What insurance do you need? And on top of all of that, we have a resource document that has a link to like every single thing that we teach. I'm like, gosh, this is like so like.
Wish we had that when we were.
I had to work really hard for all that stuff. And then we teach, we have a part of the class called Vending Machines 101. What are the best machines to buy? What are the worst machines to buy? Because you heard those $10,000 machines are the worst. They're not worth anything. So, and then we have like, I was telling Krystal, in our class, we add to it. So as people ask us questions, we'll make a video about it, we add to it, and that kind of thing. And so like how to set up a machine, how to repair a machine. Most people, even me, could do simple repairs. Sometimes I cried on the phone with Barry. But, sometimes, I can do simple ones. So we have all that on there too, and then just like the day-to-day operations, how to set up your vehicle. We didn't go out and buy, we did one thing, right? We didn't go out and buy a brand new vehicle for our business. Barry did it out.
No, you can do it out of your trunk. I tell people, just use whatever you got, whatever vehicle you got, that's how you start the business. And don't be like thinking you got to go buy brand new something, unless you can afford it. But most people just, I just tell them, listen, out of your trunk and back seat of your car, just let's get it going, get a machine out there.
He had a Jeep, so that was the back. He had a teacher Jeep by day,
a convertible too.
A vending Jeep in the afternoon. But anyway, so that's our Vending University program, where it's all online. You sign in, you have your own account, you get to keep that forever and ever.
It's like 14 hours of videos.
Yeah, and we keep adding to it as we get questions. And so that's one part of it. And then we have a mentorship part, the part that Krystal said, can she take the class first and do the mentorship after? So that's just kind of like a subscription, because everyone's business is different. You have the side hustle people, you have the people that want to dig in and, get going really fast. And so we found that to mentor people separately, it's much easier for us to deal with their own business. So that mentorship program is, it's a monthly fee. It's $77 per month. People can do it for as long as they want. We've had people over a year and a half doing it now. And then we have people that just do it in the beginning, and some people are faster learners. So we try to teach. We don't want to, we kind of like teach you how to plant the seed and grow it yourself. We don't want to babysit you guys forever. So we teach. So Barry will evaluate routes, evaluate locations, evaluate machines, but also teach you why and what he's doing so that you know for the future how to do it yourself. And he's gotten on the phone. We had a couple in Arizona that were going to buy a route for $80,000, and he evaluated for them, and it was worth $40,000. So, but they didn't know, right? They didn't know.
Yeah, they were ready to pay that $80,000, you know, because
Yeah.
they thought, yeah, this is great. And I said, well, let's, you know, so I had them send me all the numbers, what type of machines, what type of accounts. And so I'll look at it, you know, just from my experience of different kinds of accounts and equipment, you know, I can give them a better idea of the value, because just like anything, when someone's trying to sell something, that's their business, they may think it's more valuable than actually the market will dictate. And so when you're brand new, I mean, that's the thing about new entrepreneurs in the vending business. They don't know, they think they're looking at Craigslist and looking at this old soda machine. They don't know it's old. They don't know it can't be updated to the credit card readers. They don't know anything about it. And that's where I help out a lot. So even if they're out there looking at used equipment, you know, and they're contact me all the time, or I get on the phone with them, or they're sending me, what do you think of this? I go, no, run as fast as you can, you know. So, you know, I tell them why, but, you know, and sometimes they find a little diamond in the rough, and I tell them, hey, that's a good machine, you know, that's a good price if you can get it for that price, you know. So there's all kinds of ways the mentorship program works.
Yeah, and then also we have locators we work with, so that's part of our mentorship.
We have affiliates that are located.
We all over the country, so they help people find locations, but still we want to be part of it. So even if they find them a location, we're like, talk to us, let us look at the location, see what equipment you need, because you'll have locations that'll say like, yes, we need 5 machines, and we're like, no, you don't. You only have like 40 employees. You don't need 5 machines. So an account or a location is going to tell you they need like the bells and whistles, and we're like, no, you can prove yourself. We'll give you 1 machine and see how that goes, and then, you know, we'll upgrade you to, you know, the snack machine or whatever. So I mean, we have a lot of people, I think, that have an idea they can just do this on their own, but man, just to save, like, you know, you have people that have done it for 30 years, so you might as well save that time and that money and the aggravation by just learning from what we've done wrong and right. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's our story.
Is there anything else?
I don't think so. I think they were going to ask us questions.
Great, guys. That is a ton of information. And we definitely want to thank you guys. And I'm telling you, for us, even being in the housing business, it's a lot similar. People will think their house is worth a lot more than it is because they have that
sentimental attachment to it.
Emotional attachment
to their business.
That's the battle every single day. But I know people have a ton of questions, because I know we do.
Okay.
We have written down. I do. Let me start off with some questions. We're going to get to you guys as well. And I know I have we saw some hands raised. What's the typical length of a contract that people go into with some of these buildings? Or
Oh, you mean like they found a location and what kind of contract do they need? So we have a contract in our back office I use that was prepared by, you know, lawyers and stuff like that. It's a simple 1-page contract. And I will tell you this, though, 80% of the accounts you will ever find will never need a contract. They'll all be a simple handshake. You're talking to the decision maker, the manager, the owner of the business. And that's simply the way it's going to work. It's going to be a handshake, because a lot of accounts will get scared away if you start mentioning a contract. So you might have somebody that's kind of interested. This is different than real estate, I know. Okay, real estate, everything's contract.
Right.
But you're going to be like, we teach you how to approach accounts, how to look for accounts, what type of accounts to look for, and how to dialogue with the account. You know, what to say, and how to get around the gatekeeper, because sometimes gatekeepers can keep you from the decision maker. So we teach you how to get around that. But so you might have somebody like just ready to say, yeah, bring the machines in, and you go, okay, I got this simple contract here, and they go, oh, wait a minute, I got to like keep you here forever, even if you stink and you're not a good vendor. So you got to be real careful of that. So I don't bring up contracts unless I see them ask for something, and so if they ask for it in a certain way, then I'll say, oh yeah, I got this simple contract you can sign. Mm-hmm. Typically, it's a 1-year contract. So to answer your question, sometimes you can get 2 or 3, but anytime you extend that number, 2 or 3, now you got somebody that is more like, That's too long.
Yeah.
So the 1-year contract seems to work pretty good.
And we usually really only do contracts when a commission's involved,
The commission,
right? Because we want it's like plain as day that what we're going to pay you and that kind of thing too.
Right.
So that's
Do
mostly.
you guys have that also in the course, like when you're doing a commission as well, and knowing how much
commission to pay and what's reasonable and
Mhm.
what kind of the market dictates for commissions. Yeah. So that's how I get them to sign a contract. So if they'd like a commission, I go, that's great. Yeah, I'm going to get this in writing. So we're going to pay you this commission. And then somewhere down in there, it says, by the, professional way of saying it, but I'm going to say it generically. By the way, I'm the only vendor that's allowed to be on this location, and it's a 1-year contract and renews annually. You know what I mean? No, so somewhere in that contract it says that, where it's an automatic renewable contract. So yeah, they're happy because they get their percentage, but somewhere in there it protects me too, or protects the vendor too.
All right, that's awesome. I got a question for you guys. Can you
Yes.
talk a little bit more about the profitability and the margins in the vending business? Like if someone's going to start small or if they want to scale, what is like the profit per year, per machine? What does that look like?
In general, good. Yeah. So in general, as far as product, like this is a big question I get a lot, Dedric, is like, well, okay, so I'm buying this soda or beverage or snack or whatever, I'm putting in the machine. How do I figure out my pricing and what's my, my profit? So it's about 50%. So you're going to so in other words, if something costs you 50 cents, you're probably going to be selling it for somewhere like $1. And so your profit on that's going to be, 50%, right? So it's going to be 50 cents there. So everything you can kind of look at, we talk in gross sales and vending. So in other words, when I said we were doing $500,000 in sales, 500,000 in gross sales a year, that means my net is somewhere around, half that. Okay. And now when you get a little bit bigger like that, now I realize I have a couple drivers, I have a warehouse, I have other overhead besides me just running around filling machines. And so that nicks into that 50%. You might get down into 45%, you might get down into 40%, depends on how many luxuries you want. So, but yeah, so basically 50% on your profit margin there on your products. And then like I said, your ROI is somewhere on the machines themselves. It's kind of two separate things. On the machines, you're looking at a return of about from 8 months to, on a really good account, about 8 months. On, typically more like 18 months. If you can get money back in 8 months on your investment, that's great. Sometimes it pushes to 18 months. But you can see where like the girl has spent 10,000 per machine. So if her net is 50%, that means that she'd have to make 20,000 on that machine just to pay off her machine. You could see that if it's at an account where you're making like, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 in sales, 4,000 in sales a year, it take her a long time for her ROI on that machine. And that's where
I appreciate you guys exposing and talking about the scams out there, because my wife, when she was researching it before finding you guys, she would Google search and you'd find the people who were paying advertising were these companies charging $10,000 for a $1,000 machine.
Yep.
Which isn't right. So, guys, if you're thinking about going into this business,
we chuckle about it. It's just sad. Because there's so many people that had these high hopes about getting into a business, and it could have been their first time.
That's a lot of money.
It could have been their first time of trying to explore getting into their own business. They've been waiting 20, 30 years or whatever. They take their retirement out, their IRA, their savings, and they took that $100,000 and they plopped it down on 10 machines, and it's just sad.
So like we put on our Superman capes. We're like, let's try to fight them.
We've had a few of them that we've saved, like even after the fact, but a lot of them they bury themselves before they get started. Yeah.
So we have a question from Vincent. He says, my wife and I were going to go with a company that offers a high price program where they find locations. We opted out of that when we found machines for less than half their costs, but candidly, finding locations has been tougher than expected. How do you feel about placement services?
Great question.
Yeah. So, there's some, you got to be careful with the placement. We call them location finders, and you got to be careful with them too. Now, the typical location finder will charge, and I've dealt with some of them in the past. My vendors have dealt with some of them, so I know the stories. I did not build with location finders. I built my own business through referrals and through me learning how to be, approach accounts. That's how I built my location. Networking too. Networking works really well. Like people you know, church you go to, different things, schools you go to attend, where you work. But a lot of people use locators, and that's okay as long as you got the right locator, because some people are working full time. They don't have a lot of time to go hit the sidewalks and kind of walk around and look for accounts. So using a locator is not a bad idea. Typically, they will charge, a professional locator will charge per footprint, meaning per machine they place somewhere. They'll call you up and say, okay, I found a location. It's this many employees. It's a manufacturing, whatever kind of location. They want 2 machines. They want a beverage machine and they want a dry food machine, a snack machine. So it'd be $450 per footprint. So $450, $900. And it's a one-time fee. Our locators were affiliate. So it took us a little while to find a few locators that we want to be affiliates of ours, because I didn't want that to be how our students were approached. So we have. You can talk about the different locators a little bit. So we have one that charges.
Yeah, so we have 3 that we work with. That's part of our mentorship program. Again, like I said, they find you locations, but we still want to evaluate them for you and make sure you're putting the right equipment there, that kind of thing. And if it's even worth your spending the money to the locator. So we work with 3 different ones, and it's all about, your personality and how you feel and how much time you have. One sells you leads. So those are like actually, people that would need vending, but you're on the phone, calling them and that kind of thing, but we teach you how to do that.
Setting the appointments.
So that's in our Vending University class, but that's the locator's part of our mentorship program. 2, we have another locator. What he does is he actually gets you an appointment. So you talk to them, you tell them the zip codes you're interested, that kind of thing, and he actually gets you an appointment. He'll say, like, Krystal, you have an appointment with, Joe Smith Friday at 2.
And Joe Smith is a decision maker.
Yeah,
he's not just an appointment with a receptionist. You know what I'm saying? He's got you an appointment with the decision maker who wants vending and just wants to hear from the vendor. So he pushes it almost all the way to the close, in other words.
So then that one charges $300 per location. So we just had a vendor work with him, and he got 5 vending machines in a hotel, and he only paid $300. See, that other locator would have been $500 per machine in there. So he charges $300 per location. Yeah. So we've had a lot of students really like him and working with him. And, and then our other locator, he charges a little more. And then that one, I think I just said that he doesn't even charge it till you get the location. So he does all the work, and you
get a chance to say yes or no. You get the chance to visit the location, and you can say yes or no. If you say no, or keep looking. If you say yes, then of course he would get paid.
Yes. And so the third one is he charges $495, and that's per location again, not how many machines are going into a location. So he has locators that are all over the country, kind of closer to where you might live, that kind of thing. And so you pay him $250 down, and then the other $250 once you're happy with the location. So he's similar to the one that I said in the middle. He's just a little more expensive, and he so what else about him?
Well, you might get boots on the ground with him.
Yeah, the actual locator.
So you might get an actual locator if they got one in your area that can actually physically look for locations. Because the middle guy, Greg, that's his name, Greg, is fantastic. But he does all telemarketing kind of locating. But he's very good on the phone, and he gets the decision maker. So, he does a fantastic job. I'll just use the other guy's name too. Peter has affiliates all over the country that are locators. That's their position. That's their job. And so they go in, and if he's got somebody in Jersey or someone in North Carolina that can do that, there'll be boots on the ground for you.
So again, like I said, but we like to evaluate the locations too. So that we help you make sure that you're putting the right equipment in. Because we have somebody in Arizona that got an account, through one of our locators, and like I said, the account wanted, we want a cold food machine, we want a beverage machine, we want a snack machine, and they had like 40 units of a hotel. We're like, you can't have all that. You're not worthy of all that equipment.
Yeah, let me say this last thing though. It's great if you're not good at finding locations. Some people, it's a skill. Going in and be able to cold contact people or walk in the door and be able to be able to know what to say. And a lot of people get a little nervous about that. Sales, being a salesman or saleswoman. So there's nothing wrong with using a locator, but what our mentorship does and what our class does is it teaches you how to do it. So it teaches you how to find your own locations. That's where you're going to save the most money, is when you can find your own locations and figure it out. And it might be a learning process. So maybe you have a locator to kind of get your first 1 or 2 accounts. In the meantime, you're trying to learn how to do it yourself, and you're out there at the same time your locator's out there looking for locations. So are you. you know, you're out there trying to figure it out too, you know, trying different systems, right?
So Kay Coffin had also asked that question, but had also asked, has there, especially during COVID, meaning has there been people that've been able to still place these machines into places during COVID?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of states are, well, I don't know what state she's from. You know, what state is she from? I don't even know if they're open or
What
closed.
state are you from?
Put it in the chat box.
Put it in the box.
Yeah, so the one I just told you where the guy got a hotel with 5 machines, he just got that right now. So, and then, yeah, they've been able to place machines.
Yeah, the only places right now in California, well, San Diego, County, is there aren't open, like our hotels opened up, but you know, like our restaurants, you wouldn't put machines there anyway. You know, hair salons, you know, nail places, they're not open. Gyms are the only place that could be a good location. So right now they're not open. So it'd be a little difficult. You couldn't just walk into a gym right now and try to locate a machine because they're not even there. So but most of the manufacturing is all pretty much opened. A lot of offices are open. A lot of all the hotels, apartment complexes, that kind of stuff, they're all open.
Okay, so she's in North Carolina, so, and we're open.
Yeah. So, and then naturally, some of them are working on skeleton crews and stuff like that. But let's just say both those, Peter and Greg, can do telemarketing too. So they could always call and set up the appointment that way, or, you know, without having to physically go in the building.
So I think that's great. It's kind of like pay for performance. You don't pay them until they find you a location. So that's
First, the one that we said, or did you ask that, or you were just saying that's good?
No, I'm saying that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good, because a lot of the professional ones I was telling you in the beginning, before these affiliates I'm telling you about, are that way, where you had to. Well, no, they are professional too. But what I'm saying is, like the ones that are too expensive, in my opinion, they either require a big deposit, like maybe $1,000 on retainer, you know, and then they'll start looking for accounts for you, because they're always worried about, like, you're gonna. This is what locators are worried about. That, you know, they live in LA, their office is in LA, and you're in North Carolina. They send you to a location. You tell them you don't want the location, but then you come back and try to get the location around them without paying their fee. And so that's what a lot of locators are worried about. And so that's why they collect money up front. You know, that's why some of them have deposits. Now, of course, ours are all pretty, really good about that, saving the starting vendor money.
So Kay Coffin also asked, do you work with government contracts?
You can. Just remember, like schools and stuff like that, which would be a government contract. Just remember, though, you're not starting out competing with the big boys. I mean, you're just not.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, that's a tough nut to
Get
crack.
a lot of knowledge and experience first.
I say you start out with some smaller locations, mid-size, because here's what happens. If you go after the big accounts, that's where the big guys play. That's where the big vendors play. And I'll just throw out one name here. It's a national vendor. It's called Canteen. So Canteen is a national vendor. They have satellites in every big city in the country. They service the whole country. They look for big. They love the idea of national contracts, like Microsoft, like, you know,
Google.
Google. Yeah, like all the Google offices all over the, you know, so that's what they focus on. So as a brand new vendor, that's not going to be your niche, because you're not going to be able to compete with Canteen. They're going to be able to service the entire country of all the Google accounts. The Google in wherever you live, North Carolina, is not going to go. One, they can't get out of the big corporate contract, and there's no way they're going to let the little guy have the contract. You know what I mean? So,
but don't be discouraged eventually, because we got a really, really good account, and Coke was in it. So, yes. I mean, and it was a great account, but we were already vendors for 10, 15 years before we got that account. I mean, that one account made like $60,000 a year itself. And so we were able to get in there because we had, you know, already a reputation. We provided great service. We were able to go in there with, you know, knowledge and experience. And we were able to then sometimes you buy brand new machines. Yeah. And that is the case. So we were able to go in there with brand new machines and compete with Coke and Pepsi, because, you know, they don't provide great service. Those drivers don't care less about providing great service. So you can get the Coke and Pepsi accounts, because they're, you know, Coke and Pepsi really just have their vending machines out there kind of for like advertisement. So you know, we teach that you can get those big accounts, but just not try to get them right in the beginning, unless like your mom is the decision maker for the.
Well, I just think you go after the mid-sized accounts and the smaller accounts initially. And you can always graduate up to the big accounts, city accounts. I mean, but you're going to find when you get into like the city accounts or the county's account, and you're dealing with the politics of it. I mean, you're dealing with the politics of it. So,
yeah, like we just had a big university here buy 6 machines from us, and he started talking to Barry, like honestly in February. They're still trying to process the payment, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like you have to whatever. So they are buying machines from us, but it's taking forever. So you might as well just like wait and do that later.
Right. So someone had asked, how do you typically work a deal with a business owner? Is it a split, a profit, or a monthly fee?
No, so you usually walk in there and say, we happen to be building in the area. We're a company's, you can have no machines, but I'm building in the area. So that's the way I'm going to say. I'm going to always talk bigger than you are. So you happen to be expanding into the area. We've got a free service. We got free vending equipment. There's absolutely no obligation for you to pay anything. It's just a point of sale purchase. Would you be interested? So you're offering them a free service for their customers or their employees. That's how you start out. You never start out saying, I'm going to pay you something. Now, some people would be great with that. I mean, most out of 100 accounts that I had when I was like up in the, doing $500,000 of sales, we had about 100 locations. Only about 10% or less of them actually got commissions. That's it. Okay. And the rest of them are all, like I said, handshakes. Good. And I grew with some of these accounts. They got very, very big. So they went from, like I can tell you a story about one that started in their garage with 2 guys, and it went to 10, and it went to 20, and then moved from one building to another building. By the time I got done with them, they had like 200 employees, and I had like 5 machines in there instead of the little machine I had in the beginning. And so, and that account never got a commission, never asked for a commission, never had a contract.
But you're in any business, you're building relationships with people. You're spending time talking to the people at the accounts. They know who the vendor is. The lady that I told you that bought the 2 routes and then had to sue the guys. They're like, keep your head down. Don't ever look at anybody when you're in the accounts. And we're like, oh my gosh, what are you teaching her? Like this is a business. You gotta, let them know who you are.
Build a relationship.
Yeah, build a relationship. So then when another vendor comes in and they're like, hey, I can provide you great service. They're like, no, we really like Barry. He's been here with us for 10 years, but we like him, that kind of thing. But that's another way to get accounts too, because a lot of vendors are like those 2 guys, keep your head down, don't make any eye contact. And so then the people are like, I don't know who the vendor is. And all I know is there's always snacks clogged in the machine. Yeah, we want a new vendor. So so we teach that, how to build relationships with your accounts so you can grow with them, like Barry said, and we had an account that was a school, and it was a private school. So they had 4 or 5 locations, right? So see, we grew with them too. So we teach that about, building relationships and so that you can stay and grow with them too.
But guys, they're going to have a special promotion at the end here on the course. So a question from Paulina Cohen. She asked, do you find the account first or the machine? The chicken or the egg question, right? And how do you find the location?
It's a little bit like that. Yeah. So about half our students and vendors I've worked with in the past find a location first, and then they order their machine. So if they're ordering a machine from us, it takes 2 to 3 weeks lead time to get that machine. Now, that's fine as long as you tell the locations. Most locations aren't looking for you to come the next day with a machine. They understand it's going to take a 2 to 3 week process to kind of get a machine ready and maybe get it out, get it delivered, and so they're good with it. But you just have to, as a new vendor, you have to be aware that they might ask you, like, so how long is it going to take to get a machine? You can't be saying, I don't know, let me, I think, a few days, unless you've got a machine sitting. So this is what other vendors do. Once I've started up a lot of vendors in the business and I used to do this too. Once you kind of get going a little bit, then you start pre-ordering machines because you're building your business. So that predominantly you're using a couple different kinds of machines all the time. Beverage machine all the time, snack machine all the time. So you start pre-ordering those. So you have a couple sitting, waiting, so that when you do land an account, then you have machines that you can put in there, and you kind of keep that process going where you always have a couple ready to go. And so it's like
It's our own
chicken
decision.
the egg
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I mean, we teach both. If it's a new vendor, they don't always have a big enough garage or warehouse or storage unit or whatever to keep their machines sitting there, but some people want to. Like we've had people, we had a guy in New Jersey who had a driveway like this. And we were like, please let the machines get up to his garage,
Oh, because the freight
but he
companies
got it
deliver
up
them,
there.
yeah.
And so he wanted to, kind of work around on the machines first before
Yeah,
he
to
went
play
into an
around.
account
Yeah.
so that he looked like he knew what he was doing. So it's up to you. We have both. We have vendors that, get an account and then they order their machines, or we have vendors that have them in their garage or wherever, storage unit, because they want to be ready, where they can say, oh, I can deliver it tomorrow. So you have both. So, I know that's kind of not an answer. It's kind of like your own decision.
Yeah.
No, and how do you, her second part to that was, how do you advise people to start out finding locations?
So, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's in the class.
Yeah, we teach that in our class, and then I'll give you a little nugget though. So the first thing we teach is network. Who do you know? Where do you work? Pretend you're a network marketer for a minute. Make a list of 100 names, and who do you know? Because, the people work somewhere, right? Or Uncle George might own a business, somewhere, tire shop or whatever. So we teach that because that's going to be the easiest way to get into accounts or locations, is who you know, where do they work. So think about it for a minute. I mean, that's way easier than just, oh, I'm going to go to, and even like maybe where you go. Do you go to the barber shop? Do you go to the gym? Do you go to different places you go? Because they know you there too. So, people, things are interactive. We like to do things for each other and and support each other. So that's what we teach first, is to who do you know?
Yeah. I do this all the time. I've done this for years. The kids used to make fun of me, and she used to make fun of me because we'd be on vacation, we'd be at a hotel, we'd be somewhere or anywhere, out to the theater, out to the movies, out to the,
Oh gosh, I know what you're gonna say now.
And so what catches my eye is a vending machine somewhere. And I'll leave the conversation wherever they might be talking about where we're going to go eat, and I'll see a vending machine over there, and I just walk over there, and I'm looking to see the pricing of the machine, who the vendor is that does the service. Is it a corporate Coke machine or Pepsi machine? Because I'm thinking, hey, this is a pretty good account. Maybe I can get this. So
everything like an account.
Pressing buttons. So I'm always analyzing. So that's another thing, to be more receptive to where the vending machines are, wherever you're at.
So then, okay, so we've been in the business over 30 years. So now what we have to hear all the time is, oh, I put a machine in there. Oh, I put a machine in there. Oh, I put a machine in there. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's like you going, I sold that. You go driving down going, I sold that house, or I know who sold that house, or I know them. It's the same thing. So I drive down roads with them, and I'm like, oh, I put a machine in that building. Oh, I sold it.
That's exactly how we are with houses.
Yep, that's exactly how we are.
You got to be obsessed. You got to be obsessed with the business.
So that's how you start thinking about spots too, is you start becoming aware where you see vending machines and go, well, if someone put a machine here, this might be a good kind of spot to have a machine, so then you start knowing, well, maybe it's not that spot you're going to go after, but maybe you go to a hotel or motel and you go, I don't see any vending machines around here. Maybe I should talk to somebody, maybe I should think about it. So that's how you start thinking in that, just like when you're thinking about real estate, that's the way we think about vending.
Absolutely.
I had a decorative painting business for 6 years. So what I look at is walls. So we'll be watching like a movie and I'm like, oh, look how they did that wall, back there, or look at that mural. Or so they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I just looked past. I'm like, I've seen your wall, you guys. I looked past you, saw your wall. Very nice, by the way. I noticed you have the little border and the white on the bottom. Yeah.
See, there you go.
I already saw that.
You gotta be upset. We have Angela Perry, who said we have 2 brand new vending machines bought on discount and just haven't gotten around to getting them in a location. Should we go ahead and get the business set up even though it's not in use yet? And what are your thoughts on outside locations?
Okay, so this is another chicken and egg thing. So it's up to you. But we have vendors that want everything set up. They, you know, we actually are sole proprietor. I know lots of people do LLC. We're sole proprietor with umbrella insurance. That's just how our accountant wanted us to set up, you know, 30 years ago. But so we have some people that do everything first. You know, they get their license, they get their sales tax resale license, they do all of that first, then they go into business. Then you have people that want to stay under the radar a little bit, so they don't want to report everything to the IRS. And you guys did not hear me say that, but they don't want to. I don't know what you said. I forgot already. And so they just go out and do it. You know, they put a machine, you know, at Uncle George's garage, and they see how it goes. And they might do that for a whole year, you know, before they decide they want to set everything up. So in our class, we have the 30-day playbook. It's everything that you need to set up your business within 30 days. But again, that's up to you. It's kind of your personality. I'm kind of the person that, like our accountant said to me many times, I think you're the only honest vendor out there, because, you know, Barry has vendors that have never reported that they were in business ever. So they'll be paying you with wads of ones like this big, you know what I mean? They go to Costco to buy their products with wads of ones, and so they never ever reported they're in business.
So one thing before the credit card systems came into being really big on machines is that you got to remember vending. I mean, you guys are from, okay, I'm from Jersey, okay, so a lot of my relatives, my friends' relatives, cash business. It was easy to move cash through the business, right?
They might have been involved in something that rhymes with
cigarettes.
Coffee.
Oh, well, cigarettes. But anyway, so vending was known as a cash business, and it was really hard to kind of track that kind of business because it's just all cash. And so a lot of vendors today that's the way they operate. Now, recently, the last decade or so, with the advent of, you know, credit card readers and stuff, there's more of a tracking system. And I still have vendors that come in here today, old school. They go, well, you know what? I don't want any of those on the machines. I say, you sure? Yeah, no, I just want the cash on the machine. I go, fine. So because I know, but you know, everybody's a little different. You know, everyone's a little different. Now, as far as outside equipment, I don't know what kind of equipment she has. Typically, high quality U.S. machines are beverage machines are built for indoor outdoor use. Okay, snack machines are not built for indoor outdoor use. Combo machines, certain ones are built for indoor outdoor use, most aren't. So I don't know what they have, so it's real hard to say.
And real quick on combo machines, that's the machine that the scammy franchises try to get you to buy. So I'm just going to be super short about that, because we get calls constantly about, I need a combo machine. No, you don't, not as a vendor, because they only hold like 2 cases of soda. You'll be at that machine every day if it's busy. So they're gimmicky. People think they're awesome, but they're not for a vendor. If you're going to build a business, you don't want to go to that machine every day, that you're trying to get passive income. So that's a huge question that we get, combo. And that's what all the scammy franchise things try to sell you, and they're from, like we said, another country. And so combos are not your answer.
Well, we have good combos in the US though.
Yeah, we do, but that's not they're usually like, we sell combos to people that have their own gym, and then they're there every day, so they can fill it up themselves. But for a vendor, if you want a vending business and you want to be in the vending business, combos are not your answer. They sound cool because everything's in one machine, but the price of a combo is the price of a full-size beverage and snack machine. And how much does a full-size beverage machine hold? How many cases?
So how many cases?
Yeah.
A lot.
Like how many?
Maybe up to 15.
Cases, where a combo holds 2.
Pretty much.
You don't want a combo. We have to make that video. Did we make the video yet on combo?
I spend all day talking about, I spend all day with the new vendor calling me up, go, hey, what's your price on a combo? And I said, are you looking to get into the business? And they go, yeah, I'm just getting started. I thought it was a cool idea because I could put 2 things in one machine. I go, yeah, it's a really cool idea. I said, but not for building a vending business. And then I go into this diatribe for like 10 minutes, telling them why, the cost of the combo, the inefficiency of a combo. I go, you're driving around back. If it was a good account, you put a combo, you'd be going back and forth 2 or 3 times a week. How many accounts can you have if you got to go back and forth 2 or 3 times a week to the same account? I said, you could build a business 3 or 4 times as big if you didn't have combos. I go, I know an $8 million, I know 2 brothers here locally that have an $8 million a year vending account, $8 million in sales business, okay? I go, you know how many, this is my example I give them because I get so tired of telling the story. I go, you know how many combos they have? they have 1,000 machines out there, maybe 1,500 machines out there. Do you know how many combos they have? And he goes, I don't know, what, like half? I go, no, they got like 5. They own 5 combos in their whole arsenal of machines. So I go, you know why? Because of all those things I told you in the beginning, because they're trying to be an efficient company that makes the most out of their accounts, and you can't do it building with combos. So there you go.
That was,
I don't know how we got into the combo
I
thing,
needed
but
to say that because I know that's people's question. And I think that lady probably bought a combo.
Glad you said that, because I actually, when I was looking, I said, man, we got to get some combos.
Buys it all day.
I would have been that one who I sure would have gotten the combo first.
right there, we
Well,
talked
Crystal, let me ask you, why? Why did you think that? Like, what, did you see them somewhere?
Yes. So when I was looking into the business and I saw all the machines, the combo one just looked so cool, because you get
That's both.
the
And I would say
drinks,
no.
and then you have. Yep, I sure did. That's the one I was looking at, was the
That's
combo.
why they pay.
Reeling you in, reeling you
That's
in.
why they pay $10,000 for them. It's the whole gimmicky thing, and it's such a shame.
Now I will say this. There are situations where you're gonna need a combo. Like, say you have a really good account, or you think it's a really good account, and they have 100 employees, and they got a break room the size of a broom closet. And they go, we want the machine in here, and you go in there and you go, it's got, there's nothing. It's just like this little, okay. So I know it's gonna be a good account. Maybe I get them a combo. That's about the only reason. But I'm always looking to place side by side equipment, because it's more capacity, it's more selections for them, and it's more, the higher capacity is going to allow me or my driver. Now we can put more accounts into the day. We can build a bigger business, you know,
And
and,
then
all,
also,
and plus combos are I can buy that soda and snack for the same price as that one combo. It's a huge difference. Combos are very expensive.
yeah.
Or even refurbished, and I can put 2 nice refurbished soda snack machines in there for the same price as a combo.
So question, as far as your supplies, do you guys give vendors in the course? Do you name your vendors so people are able to find vendors for supplies and restocking the vending machine?
So we teach them where to go. Yeah.
Yes.
We even have, I think I mentioned we have a thing, it's called the resource document, and it does have links to every single thing we talk about. So all they have to do is click on the link, and it's you know, where to buy your snacks and beverages and that kind of thing. Yeah, we teach that. It's in our day-to-day operations, I think, is part of the class.
You guys have been provided some incredible information. I know people are dying to, learn about the course and how they get the course. So do you have a link you can share with folks, and how much is the course? Tell us about that.
Here, I'll put the link in the chat while you guys speak.
Yeah, so our class is only $297, which, we think, you think about how much a college education is, and you can build a huge business with that knowledge, for $297. And like we said, it has, I think, like 14 hours worth of videos, downloads, everything from, where to buy your products, how to set up your vehicle, what kind of machines to buy, locations, yeah, how to talk to your approach to the locations. There's some really good actors, that act that out for you, yes. And then you get those scripts and that kind of thing. How to, just simple things, simple repairs, like I talked about with vending machines, that even I can do. So if I can do it, you can do it. You probably won't cry. And
maybe.
Yeah. So the Vending University, that's the Vending University. And then we do have a mentorship program. So when people buy the Vending University for $297, if they want the mentorship, they can sign up for that at the same time. They're not charged the $97. So say they bought the class today, today's August 2nd, and they wouldn't be charged the $97 until September 2nd, but they get access to us right away. So that includes unlimited emails, texts, calls, as many as you want.
They can schedule.
Yeah, schedule calls as many as you want. And then that is like say you are in North Carolina, and we do sell our vending machines nationwide, and we ship them nationwide. And actually, one of our vendors, one of our students, is in Jersey. He became our shipper. So he has lots of streams of income. One's vending, and another is a shipping company. And so he became our shipper. So he's actually our shipper across the whole entire country. And he says world. So we shipped to Hawaii, but that's as far as we've gone, out of this continent. But anyway, so
everywhere else we ship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we ship all over. But say you don't want to buy a machine, from us. uh,
I can't understand why
I
you wouldn't
know.
want to buy a machine from us, but go ahead.
And so anyway, we do offer a 90-day warranty on our machines.
We do.
But anyway, so if you say you do find a machine, in North Carolina on Craigslist, and you're like, what about this one? And like Barry said, that he has students all the time shooting him pictures, and he's like, no. We had one
Yes or
girl,
no?
her name was Else, and she was like, oh my gosh, I would have bought all of these, so.
Oh man, she was looking at
Yeah.
Yeah, see, older machines can only do cans. And so a lot of people are looking at machines that can only do cans of soda, like 12-ounce cans. And they go, yeah, what do you think of this machine? I go, yeah, well, it's from 1990. And I said, so if you're looking just to be like sell 12-ounce cans of soda, I said, but the problem is most people today, they want a bottle of water, they want maybe a Gatorade, they want an energy drink that's 16 ounce, and then maybe some sodas. I said, the machines can't do it, And she's going, oh, no wonder it was only $300. I go, yeah.
Yeah, so we do that. So then also, like we talked about, evaluate locations. If you're going to buy a location or a whole route, we do that. And then, we have in that section of the class too, there's how to set up certain machines, ones that we recommend. And then Barry goes through the whole machine and shows you, this is how you do this is how you do that. So that's how that works. And then also, if you buy a machine from us, we do send you the manuals for it and how to like load it for the first time, that kind of thing. We send videos for that. So the mentorship's the $97 per month. You can cancel at any time. We just ask for a 30-day notice. And we have people that have stayed with us for over a year and a half, and then people that, just
6 months.
learn fast and then they can, stop it, start it. We had one girl that said, okay, I'm all done. Oh, wait, just kidding. And then she like signed up like 3 days later. She's like, I'm just kidding. I really need you guys. So we've had that too. So we're really flexible. I mean, we want to help. And, we do them together because there's a lot of information in our class that if we just did the mentorship by itself, you would just be asking us all the questions that are in the class. So we did the class and then we do the mentorship more one-on-one for your business. Because like we said, everyone's different. With their
let me tell you a really quick story about that girl that stopped and then she signed up again for the mentorship program. Now, she's kind of a brand new vendor, right? And she thought, okay, I know enough. So she stops. And then she came across a vendor, like a seasoned vendor that was selling a route, part of his route. So you can imagine this in real estate. So you're dealing like an agent, maybe that's really seasoned agent, like really an expert, and a brand new agent, like representing somebody else. It's kind of really lopsided as far as the negotiating, because they really know, the seasoned agent really knows the ins and outs of the business, or maybe, and then the brand new agent. So she felt like, oh my gosh, I'm going to buy this guy's route, and I don't know if it's the right numbers, if he's taking advantage of me. And then she called right back up and goes, you know what? I want to sign up for the mentorship program because that's where I'm going to help out. So I helped her evaluate that route that she was thinking of buying.
That's awesome, guys. I mean, for $297 to start a whole business where you can build a $500,000, $1 million business, or just make an extra 20, 30 grand on the side. That's amazing. Yep. I know Krystal and I have spent thousands, tens of thousands on various business ventures that we've started over the years. And we've done a lot of different businesses.
Right.
So for $297 to learn the ins and out, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And we
no-brainer to me, but money's valuable.
And we've never gotten into one that we did not get a mentor in. And that's also why each one of our businesses are successful, and that's the main reason, is because of mentorship.
Hiring a mentor.
We shorten our learning curve.
Yeah.
That we don't tend to sit there and try and figure it out. And for you guys who said you don't see the link, I posted it twice above. Now they also have a free webinar, right, guys? That's on,
that breaks down everything.
Which that link is also in the chat.
Put a 1 in the chat if you see the link. We just posted it again. Maybe. So
there's 2 links. One is to the course, and it says course link, and then one is to their free webinar.
Okay, Barry and Lory, can you guys post the link? Because for whatever reason, it's not appearing in the chat.
Can you guys see it?
No, let me see.
Hang on, let's see.
In the chat?
It's not posted, so they're going to have to post it.
Yeah, I see it. I can post it too, though. I'll post it too. So let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the chat's working for us. So yeah, if you guys can post it so folks who want to sign up can take advantage of that.
Okay. And while they do that, guys,
we got
just so I can see who is on here, can you guys, and what age demographics we have on here, can you guys put your age in the chat for us?
This would be interesting because I deal with people that are retiring that want to do vending because they're retiring, and they look at it as a business they can start as they're retiring. And then I look at like young people that want to start, you know, they've been out in the workforce now for like 5-10 years, and they're already like, I can't imagine doing this for 40 years. And they're like, they're looking to get started.
Do you guys see the links? Do you see the webinar link? And then above it, I put the.
Yes. Okay. So the link is now in there, guys. Barry and Lory just posted it.
Yeah, it says Vending University Mentorship Program for the full price of $297. And then it has, then all those people are saying their ages. And then it says webinar link. Want me to do it again?
Scroll up. The link is, Lory just posted it.
Here, I'll do it one more time.
That's pretty common. See, everyone's in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they get a little chance to work.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, yikes, this sucks.
Well, yeah. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. That could be one of them. Or they could be just.
You're still not saying it?
Let's spell it out for everybody.
Okay.
So the link is vendinghacks.com. Vendinghacks.com, which is Barry and Lory's
and
website.
Can somebody put this in the chat for us? Maybe if someone else puts it in, they'll be able to see it. Vendinghacks.com /
Be polite.
Be polite / university.
Do you want to let me share my screen, Crystal?
Yeah.
And then I
Sure. You should still be able to.
Okay.
Guys, continue to make sure you put your age in the
You
group.
forgot the dash university, Tiff. Close. Just add a dash between Be Polite and University. And then a G on it. Lory's
shared
up here with the link. There we go. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't
guys.
know why you can't see it from either one of us. That's weird.
So the reason why do we ask everyone's age?
Because I want to see who is on here. Where are you at currently in your age demographic? See who is trying to do what. So, like we said on a lot of the information that we had going out, there's going to be Barry and Lory are giving you guys, are gifting a course to someone that's online today. So that's it. So can you guys see their screen with the links on it?
They can see it.
Somebody just put okay, yes, great. Wanted to make sure. So do we have all the,
Well, we don't have a
you said
window
you
over
can't
there.
read it? Take a picture with your phones real quick, guys. Or throw them glasses on.
So it's vendinghacks.com / be polite for the webinar and be polite - university to actually purchase the course. Done. Trina Harper says she's ready. She's done. She's ready to go.
I'm with you,
Awesome.
Trina.
Congrats. Crystal's already purchased
Listen,
and logged in.
I'm not even playing no
She's gonna
games.
start watching
okay?
the modules tonight. Barry, Lory, she's gonna be calling you tomorrow with questions.
I told Lory, I said, listen, let me get through this course and then we're signing up for the mentorship.
Awesome.
We are not playing zero. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm gonna be calling. Just believe me.
Now they get you guys, right? Or do they get a team member? When someone's a student, when they call as a mentoring student, who do they get?
They get us.
Us.
So when they're gonna make it, what I do is as soon as they sign up for the mentorship, I send them how to contact us. So I always need a group email with Barry and a group text with Barry so that I can make sure they get answered. Because Crystal, I am the better customer service representative. So I make sure they get the answers that they need, because I could be like, Barry, why didn't you answer Crystal? So that's what happens behind the scenes. Me yelling at him.
Wait, I got Lucy. I got something to say. Go ahead.
If they make a call,
You're paying, Barry.
That is me.
I ask if they put Lory or Barry so that we know what they're asking. They might be asking something about the class or kind of the back office, how to set things up, or if it's like machines, locations, that kind of thing, it's Barry. So most of our students know what to do, or I'll just be like, hey, who do you want to talk to? And then, they'll say Barry, and then I get my feelings hurt. And so then I talk to Barry.
Well, Lucy is very organized and she's very precise. And so I walk around all day with like 8 things going on in my head. And I got a lot of stuff going on with the vending stuff. And I got a lot of, vending knowledge about machines and stuff like that. So, but sometimes I just need someone to say, hey, did you remember to call so-and-so? Like, oh yeah, that's right. So there you go.
Nice.
Okay, so
I'm like, every morning just send him a screenshot of who's on
the first giveaway. Let's do that. Let's go by who's the youngest person on the webinar. Let's go through and look at the
I think we had a 22-year-old on here.
Who is?
22, it looks like is the youngest.
Oh, Taylor Perry.
Taylor Perry, 22 years old. So you've won something special for being the youngest, Taylor.
That is awesome, Taylor.
What did she win?
You're getting a course. We are
Taylor, great.
Getting a free university class for $297, but for free.
Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
you could be retired by the time you're
30.
I don't know, whatever you want to say there, 5-6 years if you want to.
Congrats, Taylor. Vending University for free.
That is so awesome, Taylor. So what you need to do is shoot us an email with your information, and we will send that over to Barry and Lory. And we're going to do one more. So the Polites are going to gift a course
Oh, cool.
as well. So congratulations,
So it's
Taylor.
already giving back. We're going to gift the second course. So who's the lucky winner?
Let's go with maybe the oldest. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, being old, that's good for me. I'm like, yes. Help out somebody that's old. Because, they've been out there for 20, 30 years doing something.
Right. You're never too old for this business. So we're going to go, who is the oldest on the call?
Who is the oldest?
Let's see. We're scrolling through looking at the ages again. 52?
52.
54?
54.
Anyone older than 54?
54.
Now tell the truth.
I know.
Hey, it's worth some money to you. A little bit old.
I think 54 is the oldest.
Riri. So Riri, what's your full name so we know who you are when you email us?
Someone said I can be 57 if you want me to. Reva
Right,
Whitaker.
Tasha.
Reva Whitaker is our
Whitaker.
second winner. Congratulations.
Congrats, Riri. Okay. So you're going to send us an email to info, you and Taylor, info@Polite Properties, which you probably won't see it if we put it in the chat, but it's Polite Properties, PROPERTIES.com. And somebody said 69.
Well, yeah, watch out. Be careful.
Right. So let me ask anyone here with any small children who are looking into getting into it for their kids like us?
Someone has 5 kids. They want to start at 4.
Montana, you got 5 kids?
Got a workforce.
Yeah, a whole vending company.
Oh, she said yes. 4 of them are adults. Preston Moore. See, that's exactly what I am going for. Hakima, 4 kids. What's their age? 4 kids, and I'm a single mom. Paulina, what's your kid's age? Barry and Lory, can you guys see this chat?
No, because we're sharing our screen.
No, hang on. Can you get down the chat?
Everybody have the link to sign up for the course in the webinar. We can email it out as well after.
Yeah, please do that, Dedric, since there was some kind of somebody in the sky.
We'll email all the attendees with the links as well after the webinar, so everyone will have that.
So we're going to be extremely generous, and we're going to gift one more course. Since we did the oldest and the youngest, and we're on here because we want our kids who are already kidpreneurs. So our kids, already are making income off of like our rental properties, things of that nature. So all of them that has like coin operated washers and dryers, our kids own those machines. So everything that comes in from all of these, from all of our units, go to them.
That's awesome.
So I want Lory and Barry to choose someone out of all the people who have their kids' ages. The pressure is on you guys now.
If I can see it.
So what do we need to do? Choose
Their ages, the kids' ages.
the kids' ages.
Choose an individual who's on here with children who stated that they're looking to get into it for their children. Now, you must be getting into this or wanting your kids to be in this business. So that's why I asked that before.
Yeah, is that what, do you want them to say it again now since they?
Can you see all the age groups?
Yeah. So who wants their kids to be in the business?
Yeah, so all of them who put their kids' ages
Wow.
who are doing it.
Wow. So let me see it. Wait a minute. Stop. 13, 16, 20, 24, 25, 29. Well, congratulations. That's a lot of kids.
Aw,
So,
Erica wants her future child to be. That's so cute.
you know, this is hard. I
Tasha
mean,
said she's going to go have some more kids.
I kind of like when the kids are old enough to actually understand. And it has nothing to do if you have a 2-month-old or 1-year-old, I understand. But I mean, when they're old enough to travel with you and actually help, that's kind of cool. And so let's see here. And then into where?
That one. Can you see? You don't have your glasses on, old man.
Is that 2 and 8 and 12 and 16 and 17? Yeah, that's a good
So
one.
we think Preston.
Preston Moore, congratulations. So you are the third lucky winner.
Preston Moore.
So again, send us an email, Preston. And
Let's get those kids working.
You have at least 4 that can start right now, tomorrow.
They can actually drive, so that's good too.
So we appreciate you guys so much
Absolutely.
for hopping on the webinar. Thank you for sharing this information, this business with us and with our community. Thank you so much. Anywhere else folks can find you and follow you guys?
Yes. What's your social medias?
I thought she was going to say, what's your social security number?
Where they all can find us.
Yes. Yes, we are on Facebook, Barry and Lory, Lory with a Y, Barry and Lory Strickland, the Vending Mentors. We are on LinkedIn, the same name, the Vending Mentors. We are on Instagram, the Vending Mentors. We have YouTube, the Vending Mentors. And our website is thevendingmentors.com. And I have to say that really slow because I am from Jersey, so people are like, what are you saying? So thevendingmentors.com. And on there, you know, we have the machines that we sell, we have our Vending University program, we have our webinar and some testimonies. So read the testimonies because we have some really good ones from the people that thought they could do it on their own, or people that thought that they, you know, we're going to buy that into that big franchise and didn't. So there's some testimonies on our webinar, our website. So we add to that all the time. And so one person, the first person that's our testimony, his name is Jabril. He had, honestly, he's become like our family.
Yes.
He is the one that was our student, and then he's doing really well in Jersey. And Barry's mom died last year. He actually drove 2 hours to come to her funeral and spoke at it. He's like, can I get up and say something? And he thanked his mom for, you know, birthing him so that he could help him with his business, and he's become honestly like a family.
Yeah, he's he also has another company where he's a freight broker, so he actually works. Yeah,
he's our shipper.
Yeah.
So and so funny, for whatever reason, he always gets people on Facebook going, hey, I saw those vending mentors, what do you think of them? You know, so he's like our little spokesperson too. Like he's, you know, they don't know we know him as well as we do, so they always ask him how they feel about us. So that's awesome.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's awesome. Again, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody's time. And we're going to have to bring you guys back for a version 2 sometime in the future.
That'd be awesome. We would love to. That'd be so great.
And before we go, Donald, I think it was Donald Moore. Can you shoot us an email as well at info@politeproperties with an s.com, info@politeproperties.com, and that's Donald, I believe it was Moore was his name that I was just looking at. Donald Lee. Sorry, Donald Lee. Shoot me an email also. Thank you guys so much. So for the winners, Taylor, Perry, Preston, Riri, Reva, congratulations, you guys. We are all going to be learning this together. So let's keep in touch and see how everything is going. But the replay will be out this week as well, guys. For some of you guys who jumped on late or missed the question or anything of that nature, we'll send it out in an email as well as it'll be up on our group, the Copreneur. So if you're not a member of the Copreneur, make sure you guys find us on Facebook, the Copreneurs, as well as it'll be up on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to find it on our YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much. And thank you and welcome. Thanks for joining our family 7 Streams family, Barry and Lory. You guys were amazing. And everyone is saying thank you guys so much for a great presentation.
We thank everyone that attended. Yeah, especially you two.
Yeah, thanks so much for finding us and searching us out, and we're glad we won. This opportunity to be with you guys is awesome. We love what you guys are doing. How awesome to teach people 7 streams of income, you know, because like with this pandemic, you see how that's very important. So good job, you guys, and to have a heart to help people. You know, some people can just do all that themselves, hold it tight, but I feel like when you give, you get back. And so I hope and pray that your businesses are blessed, and we're very, very grateful to be part of it with you guys, right?
Yeah, no, it's super interesting to see. Like a lot of people don't realize vending can be a business, you know, and they just think big corporations do it, you know what I mean? So when they realize, wow, I can actually do that, I don't need any, you know, college degree or anything like that, they get really excited. So anyway, no,
so
it's been a blessing, and thanks for having us.
To California to visit you guys. So we're coming to the warehouse. As soon as this COVID is up, right now we locked down. We ain't going nowhere. It is lifted and we're coming to Cali.
Yes,
Okay, that'd be awesome.
San Diego's great.
We'd love to have you guys. That'd be so fun.
Thank you guys so much.
all right.
Thanks guys for joining us. Have a good one.
Good night.